what happens is, with the label, we basically signify how they're going to view themselves. And we hand them what I call, in the case of labels like hyper, wild, impulsive, difficult, fidgety, impatient, explosive, obnoxious, lazy, we basically hand them a bad child script. Okay? So, we live in an age where, everybody's familiar with different roles in movies. What's my role? Okay? So you basically handed that child their script. And you said, this is the one you got. Now get out of it. But you don't tell them how. So that becomes a huge burden. And there's a tremendous complexity of factors. And what the label does is it gives the adult permission to ignore them. We're not going to get anywhere that way. We're certainly not going to increase compassion or understanding. It's just not going to happen. Nor are we going to create an environment where that child feels comfortable enough to do the things in a unique way. The way that they want to do it, or the way that they can. And sometimes when you give that bad child script, or that bad child label, what happens is it seems to absolve the adult from responsibility for doing anything. But it's only the adult that's going to be able to provide the assistance to make the change. So basically what I've collected for you here are some things that come from really renowned doctors and psychologists. People like David Stein, Stanley Greenspan, Thomas Armstrong, and William Carey, all of whom talk about different approaches in dealing with children's behavior and temperament, rather than labeling them, stigmatizing them. So I think probably the critical ones are to take the time to understand what triggers the behavior, the underlying causes if you can, and don't settle for a simple solution. We're not simple, we're complex, we're human. And the simple solution simply isn't enough. It's just way too limited. And you might even have to think about it from a child's point of view. What is going on? What is it in this particular environment, in this classroom, that makes it so difficult for this particular child to feel comfortable and to learn and retain? What's going on there? We seem to also, I think, have what I call a deficit model. Notice that ADHD is attention deficit. Well, where's the plus side? Where's proficiency? What happened? Did it all get thrown out the window? All we get to see is somebody's deficits?
Yeah, because they're usually very caring people.
There's all kinds of traits. One of the things I'd like you to look at on page 4 is that there are certain strategies for education that I think are essential. The first is, instead of asking if a child has ADHD, or is, quote, ADHD, is to ask these questions. How does the child learn best? What kind of learning environment would bring out this child's natural learning abilities? And you've got to know my hands in the air. Movement. Movement. Okay? How can I change my lessons or my teaching style to gain this child's attention? My hands in the air. There's other things too. I mean, there are just phenomenal new educational innovations. We've got